the female CEO brought her child home for the new year. To avoid embarrassing her siblings, she deliberately parked her multi-million-dollar luxury car at the village entrance and chose to take a tricycle home instead. At this moment, her elder brother arrived as well. Seeing his sister riding a tricycle, he assumed she was doing poorly, so he sped up his car to pass her. As a result, mud splashed all over the female CEO. When she got off, she found the gifts she had brought for her father were also covered in mud. Helplessly, she borrowed a sack from an aunt to carry her expensive gifts. But unexpectedly, her father was displeased upon seeing the sack, because her youngest sister and her husband not only drove a luxury car, but also brought gold-crafted ornaments as gifts. The elder brother and his wife brought even more valuable liquor as gifts. Yet the female CEO, for convenience, carried a sack of gifts. Her father, seeing this, was about to scold her. Luckily, her mother came out to break the tension. She warmly welcomed her into the house, then reminded her that her father was in poor health, and no matter what he said, she should avoid talking back. After that, her mother went to the kitchen to prepare food. At this point, the female CEO brought her gifts into the gift room and warmly greeted her siblings. However, instead of welcoming her, they sneered and mocked her, saying the sack she carried looked like it was picked from a trash can, and demanded she take the trash out immediately. Hearing this, her daughter quickly spoke up to defend her, saying it wasn't trash inside, but gifts worth millions for her grandparents. The siblings, upon hearing this, thought the little girl was lying, and even told the CEO to teach her daughter not to make up stories. When the female CEO was about to argue back, her father overheard the commotion and walked in. Without a word, he asked the other siblings and their spouses to go eat, but he left the CEO behind, instructing her to clean the table. Seeing this blatant favoritism, the CEO was naturally upset, but to her surprise, her father said it was her own fault, that she was incompetent and had no one else to blame. Hearing the argument, her mother rushed over. She persuaded her daughter not to get angry, and urged her to go eat quickly. But as a daughter, she couldn't bear to let her mother work hard alone, so she stayed to help clean the table together. By the time she brought her daughter out to eat, she casually placed the sack of gifts on the table. Her father saw this and stormed over in anger, rebuking her for embarrassing the family. The CEO explained that the gifts inside were worth tens of thousands, but the snobbish relatives refused to believe her, mocking the mother and daughter, saying the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and calling them habitual liars. They not only refused to let them sit at the dining table, but also forced the two of them to eat with the dogs. The CEO only retorted a few words, but this angered her father, who had always been critical of her. He slapped her hard, and scolded her for being a disgrace, bringing a bunch of worthless wood and cheap liquor. Completely shameless. At that moment, her mother suddenly stepped in to defuse the awkward situation. Meanwhile, the child beside them sweetly asked the CEO's father for a red envelope. Hearing this, he generously handed out red envelopes to two of the children, leaving the CEO's child watching silently. Seeing this, the mother immediately gave her own red envelope. At this moment, the boy suddenly asked the CEO to give one as well. Without hesitation, the CEO pulled out a check. When everyone saw the number on the check, they were completely stunned.